Dear students, today we are going to start with chemical adsorption, difference between physical and chemical adsorption, and Franklin's adsorption isotherm, what is isobar, then adsorption in solution, adsorption isotherm in solution, all the topics we are going to cover. First we are going to talk about what is chemical adsorption. Chemical adsorption is due to chemical bond formation. In our day-to-day life, we are seeing that oxygen will react with metal to form rust. Oxygen adsorbed on the surface of the metal to form oxide ion by virtue of its oxide ion formation. Like that, hydrogen react with the transition metals to form hydride ion. So these are examples of naturally forming a chemical adsorption. Okay. Second point, they are highly specific. Chemical bonding is always specific because it needs some temperature, pressure, all those things needed for chemical bonding. For physical adsorption means simply sticking over the surface, so no need any chemical bond. But in the chemical adsorption means it needs some chemical bond formation. See that here this bond is still on the weakest gaps. Sticking on the surface of the gap, but here there is a bond formation between the gases adsorbent and the gases adsorbent and the adsorbent. So chemical bond, ionic bond or covalent bond will be formed. So that's why this is different from this specific needed. Specific means reaction takes place at a particular temperature, particular pressure, all those things we have to reversible, because already we explained in the last class how it is reversible. When you remove the heat, all those things, it will bounce back. Solid plus gas gives gas plus solid. I have explained if I increases the adsorbent gas, number of gas in the cylinder, what happened? The volume will be decreased. Therefore, we have to remove the gas reversible manner. Again, the equilibrium will be attained. So that is reversible. It is reversible or irreversible. Once the chemical bond formed means it will not dissolved. So desorption. Desorption is taking place in physical adsorption only. In chemical adsorption, no desorption possible. So irreversible chemical bond. Once the bond is formed, means it is stronger. We need to give more energy to break the bond. So it is an irreversible process. Depends on the nature of gas. More easily liquefiable gases. Yesterday I have taught all those things. The more easily liquefiable gases have high critical temperature and it have strong van der Waals forces of attraction between them, so they easily adsorb on the surface of adsorbent. The more easily liquefiable gases easily stick on the surface of adsorbent. It's the same concept here. Here more the gases can react with adsorbent by chemical bond, by means of chemical bond. Here also the same concept, but in this chemical adsorption, the chemical bond is taking place. Physical adsorption simply sticking on the surface. For the simply sticking, 20 to 40 kilojoules energy is needed, because after this energy means the bond themselves desorption taking place. Here the enthalpy of activation is 80 to 240 kilojoules. Both the reactions are exothermic. Here also exothermic, here also exothermic. At low temperature, chemical adsorption taking place slowly. Then increase the temperature, adsorption will increase. So increase in temperature increases the adsorption in chemical adsorption. Here low temperature is favorable for adsorption. Here high temperature is favorable for adsorption. Here it is no activation energy. Simply sticking is enough. For painting, painting is a physical adsorption, no need to give any activation energy. But for chemical bond formation, activation energy is needed. In chemical kinetics also we learn that activation energy is nothing but energy required to cross the activation energy is the energy for the formation of intermediate complex. Energy required for the formation of intermediate complex. So here also chemical reaction takes place, so that reactant will give intermediate and afterwards only product. reactant will react with catalyst to form intermediate, and intermediate will give product. So it needs activation energy. It depends on the surface area. With increase in surface area, yesterday I thought that if I increase the surface area, the more possibility of the particle to attract on the adsorbent. So the same concept here. We have to increase the surface area. What happened? The possibility increases, more number of gases sticked on the surface of the gaseous particles. So what you understand, if I increase the surface area, more number of gaseous molecules have the opportunity to attract more surfaces. That is the thing given here. The same thing is here in chemical adsorption. It forms multi-molecular layers, where many layers form. Here only mono layer only formed. So it is the one different. So these are the main difference. This is due to van der Waals force of attraction. This is due to ionic and covalent bond formation. So these are the main differences between the physical adsorption and the chemical adsorption. Go through it once again. Read any doubt you can ask. Same thing, opposite way. Not specific, specific. Reversible, irreversible. Van der Waals force attraction, chemical bonding. It depends on nature of gas. It also depends on the nature of the gas. Easily leakable gases like chlorine, sulfur dioxide, ammonia, hydrogen, all those things can easily form because they have high critical temperature and van der Waals force, strong van der Waals force of attraction between them. Here gases easily form chemical bond. The activation energy is enthalpy of activation is less, enthalpy activation is high. Low temperature favor the reaction, high temperature favor the reaction. Now I am going to write the adsorption isobars. The graph represents the variation in the adsorption gas adsorbent on adsorbent with a constant pressure. Reaction with constant pressure gives. For physical adsorption, the adsorption of that is the gases adsorbent. The extent of adsorption with respect to temperature. X by m versus temperature at constant pressure. We got a graph like this. From this graph we observe that X by m is inversely proportional to temperature. If we increase the temperature, the extent of adsorption decreases. A maximum adsorption taking place at low temperature, T2, T3. So, if I increase the temperature, what happens? Adsorption will decrease. This is the case in the physical adsorption. In this case, the chemical adsorption, T2, T1. First, adsorption increases with increase in temperature. First, adsorption increases with increase in temperature. After one point, it starts decreasing. So that's why in chemical adsorption they are giving us adsorption increases with increase in temperature. What is isobaric process? A process taking place at constant pressure are called as isobaric process. Isobaric curve for physical adsorption and chemical adsorption. Here x by m is directly proportional to some extent. After that it will decrease. Okay, this is called as your adsorption isobars. Next one is Franklin adsorption isotherm. Franklin's absorption isotherm. In this theory, we are going to prove the extent of adsorption with respect to pressure. Okay, we are going to draw this Franklin's adsorption isotherm gives the relation between extent of gas adsorbed with respect to adsorbent gas adsorbed on adsorbent with the pressure at constant with the temperature at constant pressure, with the pressure at constant temperature. We have to because it is isotherm. Isotherm meaning is reaction taking place at a constant temperature. X by m, y axis, x axis. I have to draw three graphs. 195, 243, 5, 274, like that. This is versus temperature, pressure. T is equal to constant. T1, T2, T3. T3 greater than T2 greater than T1. From Franklin's adsorption isotherm, x by m is equal to k into p power 1 by n. Quantity, the variation of quality of gas adsorbed on the adsorbent with respect to pressure. We can write here x by m, where x by m, x is equal to mass of gas adsorbed. M is equal to mass of adsorbent. K is equal to constant. K and N are constant, which depends upon the nature of the constant. It depends upon the nature of gas adsorbed and adsorbent. T is equal to pressure. So the Franklin's gives an empirical relationship between the extent of adsorption and the pressure. Okay, here with this graph I have find 3 things, 3 points. What are the 3 points from the graph? See, I am going to increase the pressure. Okay, what happened? The extent of adsorption also increases. At low temperature, at constant isotherms means all these experiment reaction takes place only at 195 degrees Kelvin, 190 Kelvin. These experimental values are taken at a temperature of 243. These experimental values are taken at a temperature of 273. So this is the 3 different experiments done with the help of the extent of adsorption with the pressure. If I increase the pressure, for first graph, if I increase the pressure, adsorption also increases with the constant temperature. First point. Second point, if I increase the temperature, what happens? Temperature is maximum. Here, temperature is maximum, where x by m is minimum. Here, temperature is equal to minimum. X by m is equal to maximum. So from this point, what I infer the second point, at a constant pressure. Here I take this constant pressure. Okay, this constant pressure. This is for this, and this for this. This pressure at constant pressure, the extent of absorption decreases with increasing temperature, right? In this pressure, the temperature is maximum. Here, absorption is minimum. Here, the same pressure, the temperature is minimum, absorption is maximum. From this graph, we have to notice this point also. And the next point, this is called saturation point. Saturation point. Third point, at high pressure, the extent of the gas absorbed, the saturated gas and saturated with the adsorbent. At high pressure only, the gas adsorbate will saturate with adsorbent. That means mixed with adsorbate. That's the third point. First point, absorption increases with at low temperature, and if I take the temperature constant, what happen? Temperature is constant, pressure is variable pressure. At temperature is equal to constant, pressure increases as well as absorption also increases. See, the temperature is constant for all these 5 experiments, but we increase the pressure. Pressure is the variable. First point, pressure is directly proportional to X by M at a constant temperature. Second point, at temperature is inversely proportional to X by M at a constant pressure. Third point, saturation occurs at high pressure. Curve. These are all given in the textbook only, no problem. Simply I am explaining, okay. I am just giving the explanation. If the pressure is directly proportional to X by M at constant temperature, here, this is T1, I am taking T1, okay. The pressure is increasing, X by M also increasing, but the temperature is same for all the 6 experiments. That's the first point. Second point, temperature is inversely proportional to at constant pressure. Let us take this pressure for this experiment and this one. On comparing these 2 experiments, what we infer, at the same pressure, low temperature have high extent of absorption, high temperature have low extent of absorption. So that is why temperature is inversely proportional to X by M. Extent of absorption decreases with increasing temperature at constant pressure. Okay. Saturation occurs at high pressure. At high pressure only, adsorbent, in this point, adsorbent and adsorbent mix each other. This point, adsorbate plus adsorbent saturated. This point. For this means this one, for this means this one. This point is the saturation point. These 3 are the important point of this graph. Okay. Now I am going to give the information, taking log on both sides. Taking log on both sides. X by M is equal to K into P power 1 by N on both sides of equation 1. Log X by M is equal to log K plus 1 by N log P. We can adjust the equation for our convenience. Log X by M equal to log 1 by N log K P plus log K, constant is it is similar to equation of straight line in maths. Equation of straight line. Mathematics, we are using that equation of straight line. What is that? Y is equal to mx plus c. Here log, here this is y, this is m, this is x, and this is C. C is a constant. C is equal to constant. See, all these things are similar, so we have to draw one more graph. Draw one more graph. One more graph of log x by m versus log p. Log x by m versus log p. Here. One more graph we are going to draw here. Log x by m versus log p, x axis, y axis, intercept, slope, maybe slope equal to log 1 by n, so 1 by n, intercept equal to log k. Log x by m. This is the graph which tells about the nature of adsorption in the frontal adsorption. By doing experiment, the extent of adsorption will increases and it will give the straight line. Then only frontal adsorption isotherm is valid. Otherwise, it's not valid. This will tells about if I increase the pressure, the extent of adsorption, number of gaseous particles also adsorbed increasingly. If I increase the pressure, number of particles adsorbed on the surface of the adsorbent increases. That is the point in the graph. Okay, this is similar to y is equal to mx plus c. Slope y is equal to mx plus c formula. So this is the slope gives the value. The slope of this value gives the 1 by n. The slope gives the value of 1 by n, and the intercept of y-axis, the intercept in the y-axis gives the value of log k, and all these things by doing experiment we can get the values, all those things. Okay, so this is the graph. Suppose case 1, if n by 1 is equal to 0, the n by 1 lies in the range of 0 to 1, that is 0.1 to 0.5. This we have to know. So case 1, 1 by 1, if 1 by n is equal to 0, what is the condition? For x by m is equal to k. So x by m is independent of pressure. That I have to draw one more graph to explain that character. Okay. This is the second graph. I am going to draw the third graph. So suppose in case 2, 1 by n is equal to 1, then x by m is equal to k into p. Power 1 same. So here x by m is directly proportional to pressure. In case 1, if the 1 by n is nothing but number of gaseous particles sticked on the surface of the adsorbent. Okay, if 1 by n lies 1 by n is equal to 0, that means x by m is independent of pressure. That means no gaseous particle adsorbed. Then 1 by n is equal to 1. That means x by m in pressure depend on pressure. That means gaseous particles sticked with respect to pressure. If I increase the pressure, gaseous adsorption also increases. Here this point one mistake. That is 1 by n is equal to 0 means x by m not depend on pressure. That is the meaning. No adsorption and all. Just the meaning is it is independent of pressure. That's all. One more graph. x by m versus K pressure, log x by m versus log T, x axis, y axis. I am going to okay, here this point x by m is equal to 3 points, x by m is equal to kp, x by m is equal to k, x by m is equal to kp power 1 by n, kp. From this state, n 1 by n is equal to 1, 1 by n greater than 1, 1 by n is equal to 0. This is the graph which shows the variation of the number of gaseous particle absorbed. In this state, 1 by n is equal to 0, 1 by n equal to 1. That means the extent of absorption depend on the pressure. Here 1 by n greater than 0, that is equal to 1 by kp power 1 by n. This is the next stage is a saturation point where all the gaseous molecules are adsorbed. Therefore, in this state at high pressure adsorption is not explained in Freundlich adsorption isotherm. Fails. In high pressure adsorption theory was explained by Freundlich at high pressure Freundlich adsorption isotherm failed to explain the mechanism of adsorption. Here 1 by n is equal to 0, meaning all the gases are saturated, all the gases adsorbate, saturate or mix with adsorbent. Here 1 by n greater than 1 meaning is adsorption taking place at a moderate pressure. 1 is equal to 1 means the meaning is adsorption starts. Okay, this is the explanation of this graph. So 3 graphs given in this experiment is a very important 3 mark question. You have to study well. In this point 1 by n means the meaning is adsorption starts with respect to pressure. Pressure increases, adsorption also increases. Here this is the exact Freundlich adsorption isotherm equation. 1 by n greater than 1. In this condition the adsorption is maximum at maximum pressure. After this all the gaseous molecules are saturated with adsorbent. This curve. After this there is no answer. Freundlich adsorption isotherm fails in this category. Okay. These are the 3 conditions I have explained. Now we are going to talk about adsorption in solution. Next topic, adsorption in solution. Adsorption in solution. Dear children, you are learned that solution chapter. In that chapter, a solution is a homogeneous mixture of solute and solvent. In that, solute is a minor component and solvent is the major component. Here we are taking the adsorption will absorb the solute from the solution. If I am adding some solution to animal charcoal, what happens? The charcoal will absorb the solute in the solution. For example, let us take acetic acid and water mixture. Water is a solvent, acetic acid is a solute. Is added to animal charcoal or a powder charcoal. What happens? Charcoal will absorb some amount of acetic acid, so that what happens after the reaction, the concentration of the solution decreases. The reason is adsorption. So from that, in this case, it is evident that adsorption taking place in solution also. Let us take a blue litmus solution. In blue litmus solution, blue dye, blue color is solute, dye, solute, and water is a solvent. Okay, react with the charcoal, and after that colorless solution we are getting colorless solution plus charcoal absorbs the blue color, blue color, blue color of solute. So this is second example. Let us take a blue litmus. This you have to do in your chemistry lab. Content based experiment usually done. You can take some amount of litmus solution, add animal charcoal or any other charcoal powder. After some stir it for some time, settle it for some time. After settle, filter it. After filtering, you get colorless solution. Blue color, where the blue color goes? Blue color was absorbed by the charcoal. Okay. Next, precipitate of magnesium hydroxide. Yeah, precipitate of magnesium hydroxide was mixed with the precipitate of Magneson reagent. What is Magneson reagent? Magneson reagent is a reagent which is used to identify the salt, magnesium salt. It is a reagent which gives red color. When magnesium react with this Magneson reagent, it will give red color. That's just an identification test in the salt analysis. Mixed with precipitate. Precipitate of magnesium hydroxide mixed with precipitate of Magneson reagent. MgOH become blue in color due to absorption. The color from Magneson was absorbed by MgOH. So this is also example for absorption in solution. Okay. The extent of absorption is directly proportional to concentration of the solution. If I increase the solution concentration, absorption also increases because more number of solute particles available for absorption. Okay. If I increase the extent of absorption, directly proportional to surface area of the adsorbent. If the adsorbent surface is more number of particles will absorb. Okay. And extent of absorption increases with the decrease in temperature. If I increase the temperature, evaporation will take place because this is a solution category. So if I increase the temperature, evaporation will take place. The absorption will depend upon the nature of the solute and solvent. That also more important. These are the 4 key points related to solution. Frontledge gives one more relation, x by m is equal to k into c power 1 by n. This is for the frontledge absorption equation for solution. It gives an approximate behavior of absorption. Okay. Let us say, but the only thing is instead of pressure we introduce a term called equilibrium concentration. The equilibrium concentration means concentration tells about the solution of the liquid and solid and liquid. Okay. And this is the, I'm going to draw one more graph. Log x by m versus log c. I got a straight line like this. Here also a, b slope is equal to 1 by n. Intercept is equal to log k. So this graph is same to frontledge adsorption isotherm, which means that the log k value depend upon the intercept on the y-axis. What is intercept? The reaction starts, adsorption starts at particular time interval, particular molecules. First the molecule will come and approach the adsorbent. That approachment period is intercepted. After the intercept formation, slope will form. Each reading increases with respect to pressure. Pressure increases, all the number of particles absorbing also increases. Okay, the slope value gives the value of 1 by n. The slope gives the value of 1 by n. So this is similar to frontledge adsorption isotherm. How to find this? I will do one experiment. Dear children, I am taking different concentration of acetic acid. 1.5 moles of acetic acid, 2.5 moles of acetic acid, 3.8 moles of acetic acid, 5 moles of acetic acid, 6 moles of acetic acid. Taking equal volume, concentration is different, different concentration, but we can take equal volume. That means I'll take 5 ml of all 5 solutions in 5 different flasks, 5 different conical flasks. Then I add equal amount of, that is 5 ml of charcoal powder, 5 gram, 5 gram of charcoal added to all these particular 5 solutions. After allow some time for the reaction to take place, adsorption takes place. After the adsorption taking place, note the concentration. That is called reaction starting time is called initial concentration. Note the values of initial concentration, and after the reaction with the help of stopwatch you note the timing. After the adsorption taking place at some time, that time is called the final concentration. The difference between the initial and final concentration, gives the value of x. So the difference between the initial concentration and the final concentration gives the value of x. What is x? Number of particles adsorbed. On charcoal is called x. This is a simple. From this x value we can draw graph. In this graph we prove that log C increases with respect to log x by m. So log x by m is directly proportional to log C. Okay, this is also very important solution experiment. This we have done we have to do in our lab. This experiment we will do in our lab. Once again I will teach the experiment. We will take different we have to prepare different concentration of solution. Then we will take 100 ml of 1.5 moles of acetic acid, 100 ml of 2.5, 100 ml of all these things in a standard flask. 5 standard flasks we prepare 100 ml of all these concentration of acetic acid. After preparing it, we will take 5 ml of each 5 flask. We take 5 ml from this one, 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 5 ml from this one. Then add in a conical flask, then add 5 gram of charcoal to each flask. After adding, shake the flask, settle the flask for some time. After some time, the liquid and the solid particles mix each other. Okay, after mixing, you have to filter the solution. What happened? The concentration of acetic acid will decrease, right? After filtering, the initial concentration, note the initial concentration 1.5, 2.5, all those things. After mixing with the charcoal, some amount of acetic acid will be absorbed. Okay, that we discussed in the starting point of this topic. So after mixing, we have to filter it. After filtering, the concentration decrease in concentration gives a straight line. That shows that it is a adsorption in solution. Also, it is a proof. This is a proof that adsorption in a solution also taking place. Okay. Thank you, children. We will meet in the next class.